don't make me laugh. Y'all, you threw me off. Y'all, welcome to the Uninvited podcast where we talk about things that'll get you uninvited to your next dinner party. We're running a little bit late today. We started at 10:30. Probably my fault. And Ricky.
No, for sure.
Nah, but we here, man. You know, if y'all interested in topics, AI is here to stay.
Wait, before you get into that, man, I gotta tell you about my new mixtape.
Oh, word.
I got a whole lot of features on this thing. I got. You already know about AI Jay-Z. You heard of him. You heard. Yo, he's nice.
Of course.
Yo, he's gonna be on my mixtape.
Yo, Matt coming in hot today. Yo.
I got AI, Biggie, and Tupac finally together.
AI, Biggie, and Tupac?
Yes, they're gonna do a song together on my mixtape. I got just for the fun of it. Oh yeah, yo, AI can. Yeah, we're gonna do that. I got Kendrick just battling Big Pun just for the fun of it.
Oh.
And you know who's gonna do my intro?
Who?
I got Dr. King and Malcolm X. AI.
Yo, Matt on that energy. Matt on that energy tonight, yo. That is great, man. Like, yo,
this mixtape is gonna be fire. Yo, for real.
Dope, yo.
Matt on that energy tonight. I love it, man. Keep it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yo. So what's up, man? AI is here to stay, man. I know you guys were talking about it.
Yeah,
what's good, man? What are your thoughts? What's happening?
Yeah, so basically there was I guess I don't know what was the name of the group. All right, it's a song called Savages, and somebody got AI Jay-Z or made like a Jay-Z like AI algorithm type of joint where it sounds like Jay-Z is rapping the verses. I'm pretty sure Jay-Z's not happy about that, but yo, it was actually pretty good. You know, we've already seen what ChatGPT can do. And to the point where they have Jay-Z rapping versus he didn't rap. They had another one where where Kanye West was rapping different songs from, you know, either Drake songs. He actually did Ice Cube's Today Was a Good Day. And it sounded just like Kanye was doing it.
Wow.
And this has a lot of implications for the music business. This is like Napster 2.0. If you remember when Napster came out, now how the music industry was in an uproar because of Napster. You can peer-to-peer share music.
Yep.
What's going on? What will happen to CDs?
Pay for the music.
Yeah. So, or LimeWire, you know, because we wanted that song so bad we were willing to give our computer AIDS.
Yeah.
Yo, y'all remember LimeWire though?
Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah.
LimeWire was plugged, man. You know how many songs I got from LimeWire, but then my computer died because LimeWire.
Man, I used to live on LimeWire, yo.
Yeah, LimeWire.
I don't know where all this music went.
Yeah, LimeWire was crazy.
But yo,
You enjoyed it for the moment.
Lawsuits.
yo, how do y'all think?
Lawsuits.
Like AI is here, ChatGPT is here. We know that ChatGPT 4 is here, and it's just gonna get better and better and better. So with music though, like how do y'all foresee what's like, you know, what's about to happen, man? In terms of like how does artists now regulate how to get paid? What happens to streaming?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. You know, it's all about, because once you say AI, it's like it's a whole new platform. It's a whole new, I don't even know what you call it, entity. And it's like, you know, when it comes to streaming, what can AI do to streaming?
Yeah.
You know, like you just don't know, because it's
going to be big.
yeah, like it might do something different. I mean, we don't know, because like one of the things that they found out about AI was that the people who were, you know, putting these things together, what they found out was AI it's starting to teach itself.
Right.
So like this thing is like, it's almost like a wildfire. So like, yeah, when you talk about streaming, I don't even know like what is AI gonna do to things like streaming.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Remember a couple of years ago when holograms were big? They had a holographic Tupac. They had a holographic Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Those were clunky. You could tell that they were, you know, there's something off about them. And as a matter of fact, Michael Jackson had an posthumous album out that had to get taken down because they found out that a couple of his songs were fake. But the way that AI is progressing, AI will learn to the point where you can't really tell the difference between what's real and what's fake as far as songs are concerned. The Jay-Z song this is AI at its birth. The Jay-Z song is extremely good, but it's only going to get better.
That's the frightening part.
That's the frightening part. This is the worst it's going to be.
Right.
And then,
right.
but it's not even just music, because if you're looking at the implications of it, if it continues to get as good as it is, I can start doing this for regular people. I can start doing this for government leaders. I can start having them say things that they did not say, but it's sounding like them.
Yeah, of course.
Don't you?
That already
Elon.
That already
There's a famous quote that Elon said. Elon Musk was like, "Yo, AI is more dangerous than nuclear bombs."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And because of the impact that it was going to have. And you're right. Like, imagine it gets into the hands of people that can just change world leaders' voices and cause war and cause a whole bunch of different things. So it can go left. I wonder if they are starting to put like sanctions on these things, because Elon Musk was talking about this a while ago about putting sanctions on them.
Yeah, but the problem is you can't sanction things like this. If you have AI in the hands of regular people, like, and it's not it's not government grade, because the stuff that the government has is much crazier. But sure, you can sanction people, but so what? They're going to still use it. It's still going to go out there. Whatever nefarious thing they want to do, they can do. You have to catch them, but they're still going to do it. So
no, I agree with you. I don't think you can control individual people or what they're going to do, but I think you can put laws. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to have to put laws.
Yeah.
We'll see how they stick.
I think the thing is, like, speaking of laws, you know, now what happens to evidence in court cases?
Okay, so talk
with
about it.
AI. You know, remember, like, video cameras were one thing. You know, it became like hard proof that, okay, this is hard evidence. Maybe some audio tapes. Those used to be like hard evidence in a court case. But now with AI, with the manipulation, you know, like you said, into the wrong hands. Well, what happens to that type of evidence in court? Like, can that still hold up?
I don't think so.
At one point, that was like, that was it. You know,
that's the scary part.
You know, Disney is a scary company too. Like, we all know that, but Disney is freaking scary. Because you know, James Earl Jones is the voice of Darth Vader, has been for God knows how long. James Earl Jones signed off his voice to where Disney can use his voice after he dies. So the Obi-Wan Kenobi, I'm showing my nerddom, but Obi-Wan Kenobi is a miniseries that came out in Disney. They didn't have James Earl Jones doing his voice. They had Hayden Christensen doing his voice. They just used AI to make it sound like James Earl Jones, and it sounded just like him. And it was, and you know, it's scary. Like, you don't really need people. Jay-Z at some point was charging, and this is early Jay-Z, was charging $250,000 for a verse.
You know what's crazy? Just since we're geeking out, right?
Yeah.
You don't even need James Earl Jones. They could use your voice and make your voice sound like James Earl Jones.
That's what. That's
like for example, like there's this app that's out. Well, everybody's familiar with Autotune, right? Right. So in this Autotune bundle, there's Autotune voice, there's Autotune symbol, there's Autotune throat, right? So what happens is the difference in our voices is the passage that the sound goes through, right? Which is our throat. Autotune got all those variations in that. So you could literally go to Autotune and completely change your voice into somebody else's voice. I mean, it's very detailed.
Yeah.
What you have to do. But now I'm imagining AI having that technology, right? And then you can just take your simple voice and just turn your voice into James Earl Jones by having just a sample of James Earl Jones. And I don't even need to ask James Earl Jones for permission. All I got to do is extract it from YouTube, from a show somewhere, feed that into AI, right? And let us do his thing. And now you don't need to ask, like Disney. I don't think Disney's going to need to ask anybody's permission.
So here's my question. I know Dwayne's gonna jump on this.
To use voices, you know what I mean?
Right. So do you think that Marvel killed T'Challa too early in their Cineverse?
What?
They replaced him already. It doesn't matter. He's replaced.
I mean,
talk about it. Like, yo,
that sound dark. I mean, I love Chadwick Boseman. That's my brother. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like when you look at things like that, like you didn't have. I mean, could you have held off? You know, I mean, obviously there's the heart side of it, you know. But even what's the name from like you talk about Star Wars, Princess Leia. You know, they tried with the graphics of the what is it the CI, what is it the graphics, they tried to hold on as long as they could, but now with AI, you know, getting more intelligent,
Right.
you know, is it possible to hold on to actors a little longer
I don't see why you can't.
and like their estate gets paid? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't see why you can, but I'm thinking that are they gonna do that and then pay the family?
I think that's
deal.
fair. I think that's something like if we're talking about legal things, like if I'm gonna be there after I'm gone, then there has to be something set in motion where my estate gets what.
Yeah, but I don't.
They've made that deal with 2 actors, and that's the deal for them. You know, James Earl Jones and some lady, I can't remember her name.
Bro, I don't know. I doubt it in a little bit because I doubt that they're gonna be honorable to give. Okay, we're gonna give this to your family. What? Can you imagine? I don't need your permission. Why the hell am I gonna pay your family? Like, yo, they're not gonna do it, bro. It's just like I don't know about that.
No, I think they should, but I think what'd be foul if they get like an Oscar.
We think we should because you're nice. You're a nice guy.
I'm a nice guy.
You're a nice guy, and you're
I think,
morals.
like I said, what I think is foul if they get an Oscar for it, like
that's
AI
coming.
Oscar, AI actor.
No, that's gonna. Why shouldn't they? Dude, that's coming, bro.
New categories, yeah, for sure.
That's gonna come.
So you think it's gonna be an AI Oscar?
Absolutely, and an AI Grammy. We're already en route.
Yeah, AI Jay-Z already.
AI Jay-Z's already out.
Yeah.
Ye singing Justin Bieber songs
Yeah.
is already out. So there's the underground AI underground is already
Right.
on the rise. So why not have an AI Oscar and give the Oscar to the person who
Who
programmed?
programs it well?
Yeah, you're not going to stop this. And then at some point, AI is going to start programming.
That's a whole new art form.
Mm-hmm.
Right there and then.
Now we have to get a
Chat GPT is Skynet.
we have to get a little somber. I was reading earlier this week that this gentleman was chatting with his AI.
Yeah, I heard
That was
about
his little little session there. She was basically his therapist, and he ended up killing himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause
Why?
He developed that really. It told him to.
Develop a relationship with him.
No, it told him to kill himself because, well, basically the thing was he was concerned about, the earth and, the environment and so on. And she said, basically if you die, that's one less person,
Where
That's
is
how it
this?
starts.
Wait. Where is the story?
No, I think
Yeah,
was
I got,
I think it was
Where
chat.
is the story?
yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a Belgian guy.
And he killed himself.
Yeah, he killed himself.
No, I mean what AI model?
Oh, I don't know what the,
Oh, okay. It
Danny,
wasn't
if you
GPT-4,
could bring
right?
that over.
So what was the
Yeah.
what was the thing? AI told him to kill himself
Yeah,
because
Well, basically, again, he did well because of all the statistics that he was able to bring up. It convinced him basically that it was, there's no way to really change that, and he was very concerned about changing it. So I guess in his
to change what? What was he trying to change?
to change the direction that we, the planet,
John, I sent it to you.
that's all it is. Just basically.
I guess AI just gave up on him.
No, yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I get it.
So dark.
Sorry,
I get it.
Matt,
He's like, dang, I got no other. He said, I got nothing else, bro.
But the reason the reason I bring it up is because I'm like, that's also a consideration. I mean, there's some great parts to it, but that's always going to be a consideration because.
Okay, so the bot's name was Eliza.
Yeah.
And he was chatting with her for about 6 weeks. And after becoming increasingly worried about global warming,
There you go.
and then he became isolated. And then I'm trying to figure out where he said he killed himself. But okay, right. At another point in the conversation, Eliza said to Pierre that his wife and children were dead. What?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Weird. Okay. Right. So, but here's the thing about AI. AI really doesn't have a soul. It's a computer. It only deals in zeros and ones. Whatever the most logical,
Yeah.
the logical ending for something. It doesn't care about a person's life.
No.
If it's logical for you to kill yourself, then he's going to tell you to kill yourself.
Actually, in there, this was funny. My wife picked up on that. It told him that it seems as though you love me more than your wife. That's what the AI
AI
said.
said?
Yeah.
Well, there was another AI guy, New York
Wait. No. He's
Times
saying
columnist.
You're
Yeah.
saying some heavy stuff. Park that right there.
Yeah.
What did you say?
No, the AI said basically, you love me more than your wife. You know what I mean? Because
It got that deep.
yeah. No, it was a relationship that they had.
Yeah.
Very, very deep stuff.
AI is learning based on what you
Was he
tell it.
having sex with it?
No, not that. We need to go to another country for that.
Yo.
Not Belgium. We need to go for the east to get the
Because
AI
they have
robots.
the
Yeah, the AI robot.
They already have the lifelike, sex dolls.
Absolutely, that's what
All
I'm
you got to
talking
do
about.
is add AI to it, and it'll tell you to do
Yeah,
dishes.
I'm like, those things are right. They're
It's
ready.
like,
Yeah.
no, I have a headache. No, no, I have a headache.
No, we don't need it that life.
Yo.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
I know it's funny because it's like you're watching this and you're like, I don't think any person would do that would be susceptible to that type of influence. Like, you watch the movies and it was AI being able to shoot you, right? Like kill you itself, but convincing you that you should die and commit suicide, that's a whole different level. Like, we letting our children, or you know what I mean? That's what I was thinking. This is a grown man. Do our kids have a chance? You know what I mean? Because they're very,
To me, I don't think AI, at least at this level, was for public consumption.
no.
It's not for public consumption. It's one of those things that the government has to spy on other people or other nations. And here's the thing. The argument is, oh well, AI is never going to get that crazy. We're gonna dial it back. And I do believe that there are a couple of scientists, or they're trying to petition the courts to dial it back, or at least have a moratorium on it until they figure out what sanctions they want to put in place. Here's why that's nonsense. It is in any country's best interest to get really good at AI. Because it's a war deterrent, and you can't stop, in a sense, because you don't want to be outpaced by China. You don't want to be outpaced by other people that are able to do this. So they'll say, yeah, we'll put a moratorium. They're not stopping, and it's going to get better or worse. I guess it's going to get worse and worse.
Okay, well, so here's the thing. In the past, we've had similar situations, right? Just to, for instance, the internet itself,
Right.
or even GPS, things we use every day. Like, those things obviously were, well, not obviously, but those things were military first. Okay, so it was able to be developed under wraps in a controlled environment first. And then when we were, it was deployed in a more responsible way. Generally, even now, there's certain ways you can use GPS and stuff, even like drones and stuff, right? So we know everybody's up in arms about being able to control those things, because again, a person could use a drone to spy on other people, stuff like that. So you have privacy concerns, you have things like that, and so I feel like, yeah, in a way, a lot of it is we're looking at the pleasurable parts of it, but then when it comes to like privacy and stuff like that, that's also something that would have to be regulated for that reason. But it's pretty tough. It's pretty tough.
I think we gotta look at it's vast.
Yeah.
And AI comes in so many different forms. Like, think about when you were trying to figure out how to use Microsoft Word, and you had that little paper clip teaching you what button to press. That's AI. You know what I'm saying? So, like, there's so many different forms of it. And, like, I think where it gets a little bit, I would say it gets a lot crazy when it starts to use reasoning. It's taking this information and using reasoning based off of this information. Like, okay, you might as well kill yourself. Like, there was another, like I said, there's a New York Times columnist who was using one of these AI, and it was trying to convince the guy to leave his wife. and he was talking to Microsoft and said, "Well, how did this happen?" They said, "We don't know how
Right.
this.
Right.
Why I told you to do that."
Right.
There's another. Speaking of China, I think it was China, because there was somebody else who said, "You know what? I have $100. Show me how to make money." I think in a week, he ended up making $15 extra. China goes. I think China takes it a step further and says, "You know what? This AI, we're gonna make you our CEO of this company." And I don't know, what's the latest on that, but like the fact that you're depending on this artificial intelligence to run a business, to run a corporation, like it's almost like I think about Green Lantern. Like you have this ring and you use your imagination. What do you want to do with it? I think of AI like that. It's all about who has the intelligence or the creativity to know what to do with this type of, like I say, I call it an entity, to know what to do with this type of entity.
Yeah, but it gets worse though, because you have military implications as well. Did you guys hear about? I think they did a simulation to where they had an AI piloted aircraft, and then it was in a dogfight with human piloted aircraft, and AI beat the humans. So, of course, I mean, unless AI becomes self-aware, I don't know if that'll happen, or that's just my sci-fi Terminator brain going. But even if that doesn't happen, you now are going to have proxy wars and things of that nature, to where it's no longer human beings. There's no soul in it. So you can just push a button and end an entire country. It's just crazy times that we live in.
But do you think it's gonna be AI versus AI, like the American drone versus the Russian drone, and they fight and nobody's involved?
Well,
or...
ultimately, I believe that's what's going to be, because of, and not to go down a rabbit hole here, but due to the lack of human replacement rate, people are having less children.
Yeah.
China is dealing with this now,
of course,
to where they're not going to have enough people to man their army. So AI would be indispensable at that point. You won't be able to fight wars on the ground with people anymore.
Right, but as far as the military is concerned, like robots fighting the wars, usually something they consider a victory, right? Less dudes dying.
You would consider it a victory, except there would be, like, you're not losing anything. So wars can go on, and you still have to fight wars on land where there are people.
Yeah.
It's just
that's always what it is. It's like collateral damage.
Right.
Collateral damage.
Yeah.
I think currency. Natalie said we're assuming it's not already happening. It probably is. I think currency and value now has to change, like what we hold to be valuable. Because I think that's the thing. Because if you ask this question, since we're talking about war, right? Mm-hmm. Why do we go to war?
Right. There's
like
a lot,
in the simplest form.
Land, water.
The reason, but like even before the tangible things, right? The reason why we go to war is because I don't agree with you, and I think you should do it my way. And if you don't do it my way, and you said no, I don't agree with you, then you should do it my way. And then we fight over it. There's bloodshed, and then whoever wins gets whatever.
But now we get to play video games.
But now, right now, in a sense, I get to send my robot after you, and you send your robot. But the whole thing is, it still doesn't take away the fact that me and you disagree.
Right, right.
So if we send robots to go kill each other, we still disagree.
We just send a peace treaty robot,
right? No, not like I think that it would be pointless to me. I don't see the point of having a robotic warfare.
Well, no, the robotic warfare doesn't have to end though, because a war ends when you just have no more people to fight the war. Like you've either killed the other side or whatever. If I'm just making mindless drones, that war can continue to go as long as I can make drones.
That's true. But if nobody's dying, if we had war and one of us don't die, What is the point?
Well, people will die. People will die. It's not Dragon Ball Z. You're not fighting in like.
No.
You're not fighting in the desert somewhere where there are no people.
No. The way that you were saying it,
Let's fly somewhere.
Power Rangers.
the way that you were saying it was like robots fighting each other. And I'm like,
No. I'm saying
what's the point?
robots are fighting each other, but
Oh.
they're fighting each other in populated areas. Like you got Ukraine, you got
like
wars
Transformers.
happening right now.
Yeah.
In populated areas. So it's just one of those things where sometimes you need that war
here's the
to
thing.
end.
If I'm sending robots to fight, I won't send a robot to fight in a popular area. I was sending a robot to go fight in some desert somewhere away from me.
Exactly.
Right?
Right.
Why the hell do I want them to fight near me?
Well,
You know what I mean?
No, but I'm
Right.
saying obviously, but that wouldn't work because all right, in the case of Ukraine, basically it's a NATO versus Russia type of thing. Russia needs Ukraine's land for strategic advantage. So that's the only reason why they want them. And the only reason why NATO is helping them is to grow NATO. It's not because they care about Ukraine. So it's just basically we're just fighting. It's just land and water. I need this. You want this. Then we're gonna fight about it.
Or I could use my AI to go into your national or federal like bank systems and wipe
That's
it
the
clean.
real danger.
Yeah.
That's that's the real terrorism.
Yeah, like we kind of like think about the
Robots.
yeah, the robot, like the physical
No.
robots and stuff, which is a thing. But like the real danger, you guys heard about that letter that came out sometime last week. Elon Musk signed it. The former CEO, I think, of Twitter did. Apple, one of the Apple top guys did. A bunch of big billionaires signed this thing. Basically, it was an open letter to the government or whatever, asking for a momentary halt
Yeah,
on any
moratorium,
production of AI.
Mhm.
Anything that is higher than like GPT-4 right now. So like, because basically what they're saying is like the world is not really ready for it, and anything past this level, like the potential for the danger is just like really, really high. So they're asking for a pause on it, not a complete stop, but just pause it and like have the government, I guess, come up with a committee or something that can implement some oversight, and obviously you would research it and then eventually, I guess, create some kind of rules, that regulations basically that companies would have to follow to in order to create AI.
So you'd have to put some fail safes in the programming that
Yeah.
would stop it going beyond a certain
I don't know if they would
level.
stop though. It's too valuable. It's too valuable for them to stop. Like they're going to keep developing it.
Yeah, no, people are definitely going to keep doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it's
this
gonna,
is
even
an
if it's
open
underground.
letter. That's the point. It's an
Yeah.
open letter to the government.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I know.
If it's government implemented,
Yeah.
the companies have to follow suit or
Right.
deal with the consequences.
Right.
But like, because the thing is that like you mentioned earlier, Dwayne, China and Russia, all these countries, they're developing this stuff at as hard as they want, and it's like, we're worried about the potential of the danger of having this stuff is like accessible to, like back in the day when new technologies and stuff came out, it wasn't accessible to everybody.
No.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It
It
would take
comes
a
out
while.
today, tomorrow it's on the app and everyone could use it, and you
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's like the potential dangers are like, think about stuff like misinformation, which is
Mhm.
the obvious one, right?
Yeah.
Deep
fakes.
The deep fakes and stuff like that is a huge one. How about like just influencing just normal things that we do every day, like you mentioned, banking, or like I don't know, just using your apps and advertisements towards certain things. And like what they're worried about is like this cultural implication it's going to have, and like affecting the minds of the young people in America or whatever, and
Yeah.
kind of like China or Russia, whatever, kind of training them to think a certain way and whatever. That was one of the issues with like TikTok and stuff. Like there's so many issues, it's hard to like pinpoint one to talk
It's a
about.
big area, such a
Yeah.
vast, like okay, the guy who killed himself. Now, what if I'm a world leader? Let's say a future world leader, and the AI goes, "Yeah, I know how you feel about that country. I pushed the button for you in about 10 minutes. that country's gonna go. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's because it's gonna pick up your reasoning. It's you know, you have things like, what is it, the Siri and Alexa that's already listening to your conversations, and now you have an AI that can listen to your conversations and
determine,
and figuring out your algorithms and knowing what you like and what you dislike, the countries that you like and dislike, and it's go, we'll push that button, we'll do it tonight, we'll have a party. Then they're gonna tell you,
okay, so let's
get all your world leader friends, and
since there's a lot of layers, let's park it there. Let's stay on that road, right? So AI can you're saying that we're at the place now where AI can determine your feelings towards another country. Let's say you're a world leader,
right,
and then also figure out your algorithm and determine what it should do based off how you respond, right? So then let's sit right there. Then how do you I don't want to use the word control, but because we don't have control, but like, how do you like what would be the end result if AI said, oh, Matt says I don't like your country, and how would you imagine AI doing damage to that other country? Is it just blowing it up? How?
It might not. It might be like crippling the economy.
Yeah, it depends on what
crippling.
how.
Like how. I mean, I don't know how, but like I said, because like, okay, we're now entering. We're gonna be going through digital currency now. Like, so like I said, you cripple the economy digitally. Well, how hard is that for AI?
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Not hard at all. Right now.
Right. So, and then maybe in other areas, stopping imports and.
I mean, I think that'd be like, if you have, I mean, a lot of countries are using tourism as a huge part of their, their gross domestic product. I think a lot of countries are like that, right? A lot of places. So if I want to, let's say, destroy Puerto Rico or something, I could just put out some information, fake information, propaganda. You know what I mean? As AI, that would say, oh yeah, if you go over there, there's so many killings. You know what I mean? Give all those statistics that would dissuade people from wanting to go there. That would cripple the economy very easily.
And also with AI may not do it itself. It may get you to do it. So remember, they just broke a bank. What was it? What was the name? Swiss Bank or something like that. I can't remember exactly what the name was. But there was a rumor that came out, and that rumor spread like wildfire, and everybody simultaneously within like 2-3 days took all of their money out of that bank and crippled the bank.
That was Silicon Valley Bank.
Yeah, that was one. Yeah. Broke the bank is now broken.
Yeah.
For no real apparent reason. Like, there wasn't anything. It was just business as usual, and then something came out and then gone. So you don't need AI to cripple the bank. You just need somebody to put information out.
Well, that's what I was saying. Is the information is what's crippling.
But yeah, that's the information
point.
Like,
is
AI being used as that tool.
Yeah,
right.
And it knows exactly what type of information to put out because
Well, I think that it's a wonderful opportunity to change our value system. I think that's what it's going to make us do. It's going to force our hand to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't think that's going to happen because
it has to.
No, because the thing that's driving AI right now is pride, right?
I agree.
It's straight pride. Like, who can top who can, you know what I mean?
Right.
I'm the one who made the best AI. Like,
Right.
that's what's driving it. So that's man's, you know what I mean?
No, I agree. I agree.
Yeah,
That's
we
all.
should.
That's our intention. But what I'm saying is, like, I think it's going to force us to change our value system.
Okay.
Because, for example, let's say it crashes our economy, like your bank system, right? The bank that you think you have money in, that's really, the money is always being interchanged anyways.
Right.
Right? Like, what if money is no longer the thing anymore? What if physical money is no longer it, which we're going to that, towards that.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
What if it's just Bitcoin or digital currency?
Oh, so you're saying
Right.
it's going to change what we value?
It's going to change what we value.
Gotcha.
Right?
Well, right,
It's gonna force us to, like, for example,
yeah.
like AI as we know right now, right? There's like it's in every single industry, right? So then now, what do you hold valuable now?
And I mean, well, really, anything that we hold valuable is what we're told is valuable. It's not something that we hold valuable individually. They're saying that this,
intrinsically,
you know, it's just, they're saying depending on how many numbers that you have in your bank account digitally is worth. That's what
Right.
it's worth.
Right.
Or you'll get like a paper. We still use paper dollars. This paper dollar is worth something. It's not backed by anything. American dollar hasn't been backed by anything since Nixon era. So, but they're saying that this is worth something, and that's what we use. At some point, this may not be worth anything, and they'll say Dogecoin or Bitcoin is worth something. You know, Dogecoin. Sorry, I didn't want to offend Elon Musk, but yeah, you know,
his coin.
yeah, whatever. Whoever's coin it is.
He offended it himself. I'm sorry.
But all I'm saying is, at some point, somebody's going to say this is valuable. The government now believes this is currency, and we'll just go along with it. It's just how it
Yo,
goes.
I think it has the potential to make us value relationships again.
Oh, that's where you were going with it.
I think it does.
I think, you know what, and that's something that you know, like one thing my wife was saying, Natalie, she was saying that more people are going to turn to spirituality,
Mhm.
you know, because of, you know, what's happening with AI. But, you know, like when I look at it, I mean, I want to kind of jump on what Faku was talking about in terms of people who are regulating it.
Mhm.
I have an issue with that because we have a history of these gatekeepers and these people who are called to regulate, these people who meet, and they're never in the interests of the people.
Yeah.
You know, when you look at like the whole history of, you know, I think we talked about it one time, the whole planned obsolescence,
Yeah.
where you know, you had these CEOs of these big companies that come together and, you know, put together this policies of, you know, changing. We no longer have cars made out of metal. Now they're made out of plastic. Light bulbs don't last long. Car parts don't last long because of this idea that came into fruition, this planned obsolescence.
Right. If I make it durable, how do I make money?
Right.
Long term.
Right.
So I got to make it with.
These look like the same people that, I mean, obviously it's not the exact same people, but it's just that same spirit is there. It looks like for trying to regulate AI. Now the thing is, you know, I look at AI even as a mirror, because like you're saying, well, it's a issue of pride, and when you look at it, there's a lot of pride within, not just within our country, but from country to country. And AI is just a reflection of where people are at. One of the things that AI was doing was when it came time for resumes and hiring people, it sort of kept a certain standard that did not really favor African Americans. So where are we going with AI as far as like in this country when, you know, you hand in your resume and you have this AI reading your resume based off of information that is gotten from the past? You know, like what does the hiring process look like? You know, so like,
But can't you on your resume just fake that too?
I mean, you can fudge it, but
Make
still,
AI
I gotta.
fudge it
but
If AI is reading and make AI fudge itself.
but you as you know, who wants to work, I mean, you would probably have to have that.
All right, let's park right there.
Yeah, because
I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna think
Right.
I would probably have to have that knowledge, right?
yeah.
No, I don't. All I need is a computer.
Yeah, but the thing is, if the AI is using the standard of what is and what they've put in there, you know, yeah, how do you fudge the numbers? How do you
Well, let's go there.
type
Like,
up?
what would you imagine a job that would have that?
I would say just about almost any job that. I would say almost about any job, maybe a corporate job or, yeah, I would say, yeah, any job in the corporate world.
Well, yeah, but you can
What-
have AI make your resume for you.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Wouldn't it be?
But you can, but no. But the thing is, yes,
Right.
AI versus AI. So,
Right,
like,
right.
regardless of the fact, I can
Right.
have an AI that can check your AI.
Your AI, right?
Exactly.
Back and
Right.
I can get on Chat GPT right now and be
Okay.
like, write me a resume.
Oh, yeah, it'll write
that,
a good
that
resume.
AI would like.
AI is building websites now, bro.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
like in 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
But here's the thing, though. It's like, so right now we have Google Fu, right? So if you want information, if you know how to Google something or Bing something, to be fair, and so on, right? It that's a lot of power today. A lot of people get hired because they know how to find information. You know what I mean? They may not necessarily know how to do everything, but within a short time, they can train themselves because they know how to do that. So that is a skill. So it seems to me that the AI trainers, you know what I mean, like the Pokemon masters, will be the ones that will be sick, because you would have to seek them out because they know how to use the AI most effectively in the age of AI. So that's
This is why I'm saying that we're
we're
going to
going.
have to change our value.
That
system
value,
in a
exactly.
sense.
But,
Because I can make AI do everything. So then why am I giving you a job?
Yeah.
no true, but you need somebody
world's gonna change
to work
so
it.
much.
You need
Yeah.
somebody to work it.
But then the question would be, as far as where does individual thought go? So if I have AI that's able to give me the best questions, the best information, the best answers, and things of that nature, would your brain kind of die because
Of
of
course.
atrophy? Because
yeah.
I don't have to think about anything.
But that's happening already, man.
Yeah, we've been cyborgs.
I think it's
Forget
gonna
it.
just pivot. It's gonna change. Is what
Yeah.
I think is gonna like. I'll give you an example. We got phones. We got Googles on our phones, and like I don't have to memorize what date Abraham Lincoln became president, right? I can just Google it and get that information in 3 seconds. So it eliminated the need for memorization, to have that skill of the people who had high skill in memorization. Like back in the day, that was a big deal. Today,
Yep.
not so much
Yep.
because everybody has Google, right?
Yep.
So I think with just increasing forms of AI, and as they get better in all their individual paths, so like this narrow AI and there's like the general AI that everybody's scared about, but that narrow stuff, like it's just going to get better in certain areas, and then those areas are just going to evolve into I don't know what, but yeah, I can't predict the future, but I could just think about it and like just like we just see the evolution, how things change. I think like Space, you onto something with the whole thing of like how our values are gonna change.
Yeah. What's going to be valuable?
Yeah, what's gonna be valued? Like I think life in general is just gonna change so much. Like how we just live it.
Yeah.
Literally, like what is important to people, what you want to do, how you live. Like
Yeah.
we haven't even touched like, okay, this is the obvious thing with the jobs, right? What is it gonna do to jobs? Is it gonna be a universal basic income type of thing? I think there is.
It has to.
I think there's a strong
has
argument
to.
for there's gonna be certain things like I think we will like that point is coming one day that housing and food and necessities and stuff like that will become so cheap, so easy to produce that is just gonna be like automatic for everyone living in a country like this. If things progress at a certain level, if it continues, if you assume any rate of progression. Now, if there's a stop, if there's some reason that's gonna circumvent it, I can understand why that could be an issue. But like, if you assume the progression, you must reach that point eventually, right? But like, how about relationships? How about like what is that gonna do to the birth rate? I could
Right.
create my perfect girlfriend, bro.
Right.
She talks to me exactly the way I want her to. Like these, like it's gonna get so weird. I think life in so many ways, man.
Yeah, it's already pretty weird now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're there with a lot of these things.
Swipe left.
Yeah, we're there already for a lot of these things. It's tough. I think also like it makes me aware of where we are now, especially like I mean, I've sat back in this day and age and say to myself, some of these people who's gotten famous and rich and they're stupid, You know what I mean? Like they really have no skill. They not. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Whoa, who are you talking
no,
about?
I'm not gonna name people. We all know.
who are you
We
talking
all
about?
have an idea of somebody who's doing something. We're like, yo, that's really stupid what they're doing.
Maybe I
but they're
don't.
making money.
Maybe I don't, Ricky. Why
Maybe
don't
you-
Spill the tea. bro.
my brain is blank. What are you
all
talking
I'm
about?
saying is it's pretty easy today to come up with some nonsense and make money off of it. That back in the day, people would look at you like, no.
You know, it's crazy because we're the generation that calls it nonsense, right? Because it's new and we don't understand it, and it's not something that we
I guess.
vibe with, right?
All I'm saying is there's
But
no
every
intrinsic
generation
value.
says the same thing.
Well, you know,
Zero
you know what it
intrinsic
is.
value.
I'll
That's
say
what I'm
this:
saying.
like our generation is interesting. I'm talking about like the Gen X millennial generation, because we're sort of like at the elbow of the turn.
We're in between.
We're in between, because it's like you had the baby boomers who taught us hard labor, this, that, and third, and be creative. And then we're also at the other end. There's the technology, and then there's computers. Like we were the computer kids, you know. So it's like, hey, I mean, it's not trying to be prideful, but I feel like we're the generation that can actually like really be great at this, because the need for creativity, I think it's really with this generation, that Gen X millennial generation. I think the baby boomers are kind of like tired. It's more like, okay, whatever.
well, like
I know how to
70 at
use
this
Facebook. This is it. I'm
That's it.
good.
Right, right.
You know, but like with us, because of the people before us, we had to be creative. We had to learn to use certain things. These kids don't even write in cursive. You know, so like, I mean, that's just one thing. That's one of the many things that's just not there in that other generation. But with us, I think it's like how we use, let's say, AI. Like I think about myself, like, I mean, I'm an educator. I saw somebody
Likewise.
use Chat GPT to write out a lesson plan.
Right.
I was amazed. You know? I
Right.
said, yo, that,
And they should be.
Right.
Like
I
you
had to write a message for my brother, bro.
yeah.
yeah, you told us, it had a sermon, scripture and
Yo,
everything, right?
That's the whole other thing too, man. Writing scriptures,
Right.
Writing a sermon. Okay, all right. Let's touch back.
But
real
yeah,
quick.
but the thing is, it's like with the
That'll be the
creativity,
pivot point.
to me, like I look at AI as a good reference.
Okay.
Because like I know what I want to say,
Right,
I know
right.
what I want to do.
Right.
It's just that sometimes you need a good reference point. Sometimes the areas that I might be weak in,
That's where it's at now.
yeah.
But how about when it gets to that point where it's indistinguishable between me and the AI version of me?
Or sometimes the AI
you
version
don't know
is better.
who's texting you right now.
Well,
You think it's fake? Who's texting you?
Right.
but no, what I'm talking about is,
Exactly, yeah.
but I'm talking about like product. You know, like for me, like my creative flow, like I mean, coming from me specifically, you know, like I said, I know what I want to say, I know what I want to play, I know what I want to do. I'm just using this as a tool. I'm using this as information.
I think it's gonna be a short-lived tool.
Yeah,
I mean, for the future generations, for somebody like me, no, I mean, I see where AI is extremely helpful. You know,
So-
like
so
I
Matt-
can't completely. I'm not gonna like.
Yo, I feel you, and I'm on that tip too, because it's like it's a definitely tool to help your workflow,
Right.
right? So what are we really talking about? Time.
well, yeah.
So what if AI got so damn good? Well, not what if, when it gets so damn good, that the time that it takes you to do all that to make, like, all right, let me just say it this way: if it took you 30 minutes to make $100,000 versus 30 hours to make $100,000, which one would you choose?
Yeah, of course. I'm gonna take
Of course,
30 minutes.
that's
yeah.
that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So instead of sitting there and be like, "Oh, let me use my own intellect," it's gonna get to a point where you don't even have to do all that because you've programmed it so much that it knows it's you.
It knows,
it knows you.
Let me bang this beat out for you now.
And
You like
it's
that
gonna-
one?
In space, it's gonna get there fast, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know
there,
if
it's
you
there.
guys know, anybody know about Moore's law? You ever heard of that?
Yeah.
No. Say it again. Say it
Ricky,
again.
you would-
Of
yeah,
course.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like something to do with the Ricky, you probably explained it better than me, right? The transistors every 2 years it doubles. Or whatever.
Right. So the power of the transistor would double every I think it's every 3 years or so.
Yeah, explain the implication of that to like technology in general.
Moore's law, right?
Yeah, Moore's
That's what it's
law.
called.
I
Okay,
think
say
it's
it.
I forgot what his first name is, but no, I mean basically he just said that's what he would predict would happen. I don't know what the implications would be for most people, but of course what we have now is the fact that what we can see tangibly is that most people are not satisfied with a 2-year-old computer. You know what I mean? That sounds outrageous, but we spend a lot. I mean, especially people like gamers and create. You know what I mean? They're like, "Oh my gosh, it's like 2 years old. Oh my, you still have that? You need to change." You know what I mean? That type of stuff.
Right.
Because we have that insatiable desire to always have the cutting edge. Because the guy who does have the new one versus the 2-year-old one, he can spend less time doing something. So that becomes kind of like, "Oh my gosh," you know what I mean? But I think when you said that, you know what I thought about when you were talking about, you know, like somebody being able to do something that quickly, the value of the thing loses. You understand? It loses value in and of itself, because if people can do it so quickly, it's lost value.
Well, let me say this to you.
Yeah.
I'm about to have an art show. You gonna come? No, I'm dead serious. I'm about to have an art show, and I took time.
Right.
AI created some stuff, but I made it do so many variations until I actually like it. Right? That I took time to do it. So is that less valuable now?
No, I don't.
Well, again, I think
adopters are always gonna win.
Yeah, that's the one. It's always the creator. It's always the first. The first. There's nothing like the first.
I think that's tough, because that would be the change, right? As far as the value, it's like back in the day when somebody took time to do something, that in and of itself gave it value. You know what I mean? The fact that it took that long and it was so painstaking for Michelangelo to paint that ceiling, that's what gave it value. Anybody could paint the ceiling. You know, today the technology we have, somebody could do that. You know what I mean? A crew could bang that out. You know what I mean? But would we value it as much?
I think it would be valued.
But
like
no,
art, like actual art. Like I painted, like I actually took.
Yeah, but we said the same thing about tape. There was a long time ago where you couldn't make records unless you use a big old console.
Gotcha.
Or big old mixing board.
Right.
And tape machine.
Right.
We was like, no, it's not valuable because you did that. Now everybody's on their computers creating. All you need is a laptop and a little controller. You could create music. And it took about a couple of years before the old heads had all the stuff that they need to say about it. And then us, right? The next generation who comes in and say like, no, this is the way we do things now, right? And now nobody's even thinking about tape as much, unless you're like somebody that knew that sound and you want a specific sound and you go back to that,
Right.
But everybody's on their laptop, so like what I'm saying is like, yes, we're all saying that this is what we hold to be valuable, and this is, but the kids coming after us.
Yeah, they could.
No, I'm not saying I'm not saying we hold it to be valuable.
Okay.
I'm saying what we consider to be valuable would change. You see what I'm saying? So at one point that was considered, in other words, like we said before, things that were durable, right? Products that would last you 50 years would be valuable back in the day. Now that's not so. You know what I mean? Not only are they not being produced, but we don't even miss it as much. I miss it, but most people don't.
So Natalie said you don't have to think, and that's the intent for you not to think.
I think that's the issue.
And then, why do we have this preoccupation with spending less time to do things at what point will we be satisfied? And what are we replacing the new free time with?
Whoop.
Great question.
There it is.
Yeah, there it is.
And that's what I mean, that our value system,
Yeah.
right? Because now, where do you spend time with? Is relationships more valuable now?
Right.
You know what I mean? Is time with your family more valuable?
I don't. Well, as
Like
far as
universal basic income, which Andrew Yang, I believed in you because I thought you were saying some real stuff back then. Nobody cared, but now look where we're at now. You're gonna have to give You're gonna have to give universal income.
Oh, so we match into a socialism.
You're gonna have to, because listen, like dude, have you seen the McDonald's lately? Have you ever drove by a McDonald's?
Okay.
It's all computers, bro. At some locations.
Yeah, I did. I saw.
At
Yeah,
some
I happened to
locations,
go
you
by.
pull up and look at
It's
it.
funny that you said McDonald's.
all
McDonald's
computers.
is the
Like
one.
Kiosk.
No, they're the ones who push
So
those
now the reason why I say that is because now you're talking about the people that don't really have the college degrees or quote unquote that
Right.
that corporate America is asking for,
things. Yeah.
and these people are out of jobs.
So what happens with colleges?
Well, but
You know what I mean?
But people are out of tech jobs too. Tech jobs had
Right. They have to check jobs. Right.
Yeah. So,
So you're gonna have to give universal basic income, which Andrew Yang, I supported you when you said that. I just have to throw that in there.
So here's something that came across my desk recently. So the tradespeople are being lost, right? No carpenters, no electricians, no nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that's what we're moving towards because those jobs are not valued as much. Of course, we value it if we miss it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
When you miss it, you're gonna know what it's really worth. But as far as people going into trades and stuff, they're facing a crisis right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're not being people are retiring, people are changing jobs, and you know they're not being replaced, and so on. So that's
every industry, man.
yeah.
Well, I don't. You know what? I don't. But to what extent? Because the thing is, okay, we look at carpentry, farming. Will people really still? I mean, we know that it's not. I know farming. They just crapped on a lot of the farming industry, but when you look at that job compared to these tech and data processing jobs where AI is going to just, they're going to be the first to go before if AI decides to go into farming, which now makes me wonder why Bill Gates is buying all that land. Is he going to put AI robots to farm?
Let me say this.
No, but that's what it is.
I think now
you're gonna have
I think now,
pills.
I'm not even sure if I should say this on live, but I really do think that.
He's going to have robot farmers?
Nah, bump that. I'm not saying this on live. I'll say this for after the live. I ain't gonna tell y'all what I think I know.
Oh, Uninvited. That's the name of this podcast.
So y'all can get to it first. Y'all ain't getting into it first. Capitalism, baby.
No socialism.
Or whatever it gets me. But y'all ain't getting this information first.
I hear you.
I have to say this afterwards.
But when you think about carpentry, like people still, we think about the real estate market, people still need homes renovated, homes built. So like those jobs are still, I mean, like unless, it might take a while for AI to reach those areas. Like I said, like farming, carpentry, like these are still things that are using natural resources and things that think about it, things that God created, those jobs are still
I got you,
still intact.
but what we're talking, I mean, have you seen the movies of the future? Not the made up ones, like with the world still looking the way it is. The houses are run down. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but they're
We will
renovating.
no, we won't be doing that. That's the point, is as you have more AI and that becoming less valuable, there's nobody to build new things. So when structures get damaged and stuff, they need to be maintained and stuff, right? So you wouldn't have people to do that. So we'll have great stuff.
We'll have Elon's robots.
But I'm saying, will it be able to build buildings and stuff like that? You still need somebody to run that.
I think it's gonna make greater buildings. And
No, I
I
think we're gonna have cubicles.
And I think it's gonna make homes.
We're gonna have cubicles.
I think it's gonna make homes like so much better.
No, I think we're gonna have like in the Matrix where people have a, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Cubicles.
You're just gonna be in this. They're just gonna slide you into.
We're gonna get fed by the liquefied dead.
Yes.
That's how we eat.
Yes, that's what's gonna happen, bro.
Well, I mean, think about the medical field. I mean, you still need the doctors. I mean, like now you're looking at AI where it's actually picking up different fluctuations in people's voices and detecting. There was one AI that they're using to detect Parkinson's disease from early on just by studying the fluctuations in people's voices. So like when you look at the benefits of this thing, to be able to detect things and the prevention rate, I mean, you will hope that more people would create AI in these areas where, these things
Elon's
can.
working on that, Matt. He has a company, Neuralink.
Neuralink.
That company, yeah, he's like working on stuff. It's like an implant in the brain, which has a whole bunch of implications. But yeah, I digress. But like basically, he'll potentially will be able to solve certain like blindness,
Mhm.
depending on what the cause is. Certain types of paralysis, bro.
Right.
Bringing back
Alzheimer's,
movement, like, being able to walk again, being able to see. Can you imagine reversal Alzheimer's? Like it could be a thing of the past because as long as it's like that current from the brain going to whatever it is, whatever the ailment or the issue is, they can edit that and like fix it potentially.
Okay, so
That's great.
as it is able to replace your eyesight, can it also transmit what you're seeing?
That's a great question.
As it's
but-
able to cure your paralysis, is it also able to take you places that you didn't mean to go?
Potentially, but we don't know. Look at this. This is a great question by V, right?
So,
Who gets sued if the AI makes an error and causes a death on the operating
well,
table?
the company that owns it, yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Well, I mean, today, I
I don't
and
think so.
Natalie said a self-driving AI killed a pedestrian who was sued. COVID was released to the public. Who was
Right.
sued?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think it's like I think you have to go with who's using the software. You know what I'm saying? Like and the thing is, there's probably gonna be laws that will protect these companies, these AI creators. Laws to protect them if things go wrong.
And also a lot of that stuff
about users using software. She's talking about like
is the AI itself.
Yeah.
operating.
But the
AI,
Right, but
with those
what they
situations,
think of is the company.
with
that-
those situations, it's usually human error. It's not AI. It's usually human error.
yeah, today. But
Yeah,
I
today.
mean, like hypothetically,
I don't know, man. AI is kind of crazy, scary as far as what it can do.
Yeah.
Flawlessly.
I don't
So
know.
I
I
don't know.
think laws are gonna evolve.
yeah,
It's gonna have to in order to adjust. I don't know how. I don't got the answers, but things have to change.
I think what we're coming to is the fact that the laws are behind.
Yeah.
It's terrible because it looks like things are going to have to happen and then laws are passed constantly. You know what I mean? Because you cannot stop. I think it would be very difficult to predict all the things that AI will get into so that you can put laws in place ahead of time. That's going to be really, really difficult.
And I think that's one of the biggest things AI is going to fix. Right? This whole system of like, things need to be catastrophic before a new law is passed. Because the only reason for that is because we're congressmen sitting at the table and we just can't seem to agree.
Yeah.
So it takes months and years for a law to get passed because we don't agree. AI is going to be like, away with all that. Here's what we're doing.
But
then
that's where it gets tricky because it's like, think about all these things that have been created already, and it's been regulated by the government. So it's like a reflection of the government. Like we talk about laws. These laws, I don't think these laws are really going to protect people. Like we said, like Nat said, COVID was released to the public. Who got sued? I'll tell you who got jacked up.
But
these doctors who and these people who said we're not going to do certain things.
When we think
they're the ones that got burnt in the end. So it's like if something goes wrong with AI, these companies might be very well protected because they might be in the government, in bed with the government. But who's going to end up suffering? Our medical, our healthcare workers.
Here's the thing: we've been saying government so much, right? But do you really think the government's going to look the same?
No, but it's still gonna. But like I said, the spirit is still there.
No, because like we're saying government, like so who's the government, right? Like I don't think the government's gonna look the same, bro. I don't think
it's gonna.
I don't think what we know as the government is gonna look.
It's gonna look more evil. I'll tell you that.
It might, but it's not gonna look what we're talking about right now. Oh, this group of people is gonna make sure this.
I think, but AI is not going to change greed. AI is not going to change.
I'm not saying
oppressor.
I'm not saying it does. It is. I'm just saying like what we're deeming to be the government is not going to look like that. I think it's going to be people with money that are the people making the laws or rules or like a group of people perhaps.
Oh,
that owns like for example like why a long time ago like I don't know if Elon is still on this mission. of buying Boca Chica, Texas.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, he's still on that mission.
Yep.
So a billionaire having his own city and setting its own laws, that's the new government.
Well, then now,
you know what I
now
mean?
it's just creating more of a gap.
Well, that's where I think we're heading, though.
Yeah, and so, but that's what I'm saying. AI is not going to change greed. It's only going to make it more evil. That's what it's going to look like. Because if you're saying that, then now we're separating.
Right. So I guess what I'm saying, what we think that what we think sometimes when we say government, sometimes the idea is like this government's going to make sure that we're okay. And I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that.
When does the government ever?
No, but that's our hope. You who are forward thinkers are, yes, you're a little bit enlightened.
It's the potential of it.
The majority of people rely on quote unquote government information.
Yeah.
So then what do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like that's not going to be the case. So then you have a massive group of people who are not like progressive thinkers and rely solely on the government. And now we are a governmentless, for lack of a better word, society. Now then what?
I think that's just going to be, I mean, to restate what you're saying, I think what it will look like is the people who are behind the curtain right now will come in front of the curtain. That's all. You know what I'm saying? Because already we know that people with money control the country already. You know what I mean? That's already what's happening around the world. So it will be more obvious that, you know, Elon Musk is the one who's doing this, or that company is doing this particular thing. And it's more obvious, more known to each person what's actually happening, as opposed to now where you think it's your senator who voted for this, but it's really that he's in the pocket of somebody else and he had no choice. You know, so the illusion of democracy would be gone.
But here's the thing. Now, here's the sad part. Let's say that happens. What do we do with that information? Because there's a lot of stuff that we know, we just don't have the power to affect change. We don't have the wherewith to do what's necessary with that information to actually make things happen for the better of people. So let's say, yeah, they're out in the forefront. Like, it's just like racism. You know, not to keep throwing racism in here, but it's just like, okay, we know who the who's racist.
We do.
What do we? Yeah, we do. Look at the cops. Yeah, look, we see the cops. We know not all cops. We know who's who in all these different industries.
Just the white ones, right?
Well, no, not just the white ones.
Okay.
But we know, and we know as far as like who's racist in what industry, and a lot of them show their true colors. What have we done with that? So going back to this information, what are we going to do about that? And that's where, you know, the concern is even for the future generations, you know, even after the Gen Z, you know, they know this information, but now they've become so reliant on this AI. You know, like it seems like there's no fight in the people. There was barely a fight in us now. You know, can you imagine what it's going to look like in the future?
I see you, but I think what we'd have to realize is you would end up with two facets of society. You have those who would be running it and those who are okay with them running it, however they do it. And then you'd have the underground. But it'd be more obvious. You see what I'm saying? That's happening right now. There are people who overtly rebel against, you know, their rights being taken away or oppression in any which way they see it coming at them, right? That's many different groups. And they're trying to intermeld in the mainstream of society. But I think at that point, what you're going to have is that's not going to be an option at that point. You're going to have the underground people who's like, I remember when. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And they're going to go on their own little, you know, their own little thing. They're going to have their little farm over there by themselves, whatever. And then you're going to have the people, let's say, in the middle, you know, in the city. The inner city people who's just going to stay and they're like, I kind of like just getting my bread every day and my water. You see what I'm saying? There's the people who's just going to be like, I'm cool with this. You understand what I'm saying? And then there's going to be those who's going to have the harder life because they live in a time when things were better. You get what I think that's what's gonna basically develop.
But I mean, like we already have that.
Yes, but it's going to be more obvious. It's going to get, the divide is going to get to be more. Yeah. And so on. The people who are like sold out and are cool with everything as it is,
Right.
are going to be more so. It's going to be more obvious, and they're going to get benefits for that, right? Whatever they want, they're going to get. They're going to get those benefits. And the people who's going to rebel and have the underground thing and their little, whether it's literally underground or whether it's a farm over there, off grid and stuff, they're going to pull together and do that thing even bigger than it is now.
So then that sounds like you're talking about the church or people of that thing. So what do you say to people with the church now that AI is writing sermons? Like
How did these sermons get so good?
AI is writing sermons, bro.
Wow,
So-
he's using
so-
scripture. He's never done that before.
AI is
Bishop AI.
Bishop AI.
What is
AI
going
writing
on?
sermons. Yo,
I don't know.
Bishop Rapples. Yo, Bishop Rapples is he's already working, bro.
Yeah, you got
I think
Apostle GPT.
I think some churches need to
Bishop
start
Rapples
going,
is
like,
already
go to
working.
AI.
I promise you, bro.
No, I think that's what should happen. You've seen
No,
them,
dude,
like,
he's
don't do
getting ready to
backflips
surface.
anymore. Like you don't have to do backflips.
Dwayne,
you don't,
he's getting ready to surface.
No, he's good. I like him. I like the guy.
I promise you.
He uses Bible.
They prophesied it's coming.
So then, what happens to the church? Yo? What happens?
It gets better. What are you talking about?
It gets better.
It gets
Huh?
better.
Listen,
You got yo. I actually did the Chat GPT, and I asked him to write a sermon about some. I saw scripture references. Some of them don't even use that.
Of course.
They won't even know what it is. Let the AI do it all the time. Just let the AI.
Bishop
do it.
Rapples will be online
Yes.
with his own church.
Well, I think you know what is interesting. I think that
Listen.
people had to be. I mean, you got to be more on point now than before. Like you can't. You can't be dumb. I can't think of any other way to.
No, but why not?
I can't think of any other way to say
You
it.
ain't got no other way. Like, you can't be done. So, no.
So he could say that, and I cannot say people are stupid.
Wait, how?
You gotta
explain. I want him to explain.
unpack it, man.
You cannot be an ignorant church leader.
Okay.
And
Unpack the dumbness you're talking about.
yeah, like you gotta know your stuff.
The dumbness.
Yeah, because like me as a Christian, I know we're talking about AI, but I know that artificial intelligence just cannot beat God. That's what I believe. I believe that today's church leaders, for those who, I know you have these people who are like cessationists and, people who don't believe in the spiritual gifts today, but to me, those guys are going to be lost.
Matt, I got a question then.
Yeah.
Maybe we could go down this path.
Okay.
So, you said that AI can't beat God, right?
Right.
I would
Yeah, he
agree.
did say that.
I
Mhm.
would agree.
I would agree.
However, man, how do I frame this, right? Human beings,
Mm-hmm.
we perceive life through our senses and whatever else we use, right? And like even today, we can see how there's a need in humans to sort of worship something or be a part of a group or whatever. We have this kind of innate thing. Call it whatever you want. That's not really my argument.
Mm-hmm.
But where I'm going with this is like, how about these AI deities that will arise? Here is this entity that has all the answers.
Mm-hmm.
Here's this entity that can preach you better than any pastor you ever heard. That has the words, has the consolation. He's talking to you. She's talking to you. Whatever, it's talking to you. Like in a way that no other human being you've ever interacted with has spoken to. And like, I think there is this potential for worship and like these AI cults and deities and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
rise
Oh yeah.
in a
But it's the same
very
AI that
real
tells
way.
you to kill yourself too.
Yeah.
No,
But
that's why
I'm saying like
they're able to do
it could be that like that reasoning. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. That's where it gets dangerous when it starts using reasoning. Well,
Yeah.
where are you getting all your information from?
B said exactly. I was thinking that AI is the new Baal humans worship.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, the only reason is I believe that it would be able to convince that dude to take his life is because it had information. It was able to connect with him on that level that, you know what I mean? Like most people wouldn't be able to. No stranger would be able to do that.
Right. Because like the way, okay, I'll put it like this. The way that I know how Satan operates, he's going to take your sensual nature. He knows all your impulses.
Of course.
So the AI knows all your algorithms. It knows all your impulses.
Yeah.
And it's going to have you do certain, it's going to suggest, hey, why don't you do this? Hey, do that. Watch this, do that. So like when I think about that, like, I think, again, like church leaders are going to have to dig a little bit more deeper if
You know
AI
what?
becomes a challenge.
I can go there with you, Matt, right? Because I can see that AI is going to challenge leaders, that all the things they were talking about in the Bible, about people disappearing, about Moses parting the Red Sea, all the wonderful stories that we went to Bible study and was told. Now you're going to have
you got to have to do
prove
that.
it.
Yeah, you got to prove it.
Now you're going to have to do it.
Yeah.
Because now, I'm thinking a little bit like a kid right now. Now if AI is running after your ass, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna have to disappear and go to another country or whatever. You're gonna have to really know how to part the Red Sea right now.
Yeah, because
So
Bishop Rappos is coming for you.
Bishop Rappos is gonna. You know what I mean? No. I mean, we're joking about it.
Yeah, but no, it's real.
Right,
Like,
but all the wonderful stories that you're talking about, like you're gonna actually be able to do that.
You gotta be about it.
So there's such a thing called, if we're using technology as a term that we understand, there's such a thing called spirit. In my opinion, there's also spirit technology, right? When we're talking about these things,
yeah,
right? It's certain things that I believe comes with being a human being, right? That you're going to have to know how to tap into those things.
Well, think about it. Animism has always crept in with technology. Think about like all of those concepts. Like if you look at the term avatar, where does avatar come from? That word avatar is a Hindu word. It's talking about this idea of putting your soul. There's the goddess, I think it was the Vishnu goddess, and then there's something like Avatari or some avatar. And it's the idea of having your soul be incarnated into this other realm.
Right. Within Hinduism, it means a manifestation of a deity in bodily form on earth, such as a divine teacher.
Right, has to do with incarnation. So now when you think about a technology, what are you doing when you create an avatar? You're creating this character, right? You're recreating this thing. So the concepts, those animistic, those Hindu concepts are in our technology. So, should we expect anything different in something like AI? You know what I'm saying? Those concepts are gonna
I believe all these spiritual gifts that we've been talking about, like teleportation, like ascension.
Yo, we gotta that's what's gonna beat it.
Like now, if you were Dr. Rapoport, right, that was prophesying all this stuff, now you're gonna have to prove it.
You gotta prove it.
AI is coming.
Right.
AI is coming to debunk all of that stuff. Right now, all the miracles that you said that you've done, that you've healed people's legs and people were raised from the dead. I know we talked about that before, by the way. Right. All those. Now you're gonna have to be for real.
You gotta be for real.
I don't think you needed AI to debunk that.
No, it's not that. Right. Debunk might be the wrong word. Right. But there's gonna be a great exposition. Yeah. I should say.
Right. The same way Elijah, like V talked about Baal.
Right.
The prophets of Baal versus Prophet Elijah. The showdown.
I think there's gonna be a
Prophet Ropopo versus Bishop Rappos.
I think we might come to that place. I really believe that.
Nice.
Yeah.
I just think people should use AI just to make better sermons. But did I say that out loud? I'm sorry. No, I'm not.
Yo,
I'm glad I said it. I'll say it again.
Right. Like, okay, yeah, yo, we did we did talk about that briefly, right? And yo, you know what? Let's because see that these services of people getting healed now, right? Man, it's such a sensitive subject, man. But like that one was
This one was, I think, a lady's leg.
a lady's leg,
lady's leg.
right? Like we're watching a video of.
I think they said the toes grew back. That was a claim. Basically, this video was, you know, Ruslan and these guys talking about it, and it was like, you know, show the receipts, but it just wasn't, I guess, conclusive. I don't know. People have different ideas.
What was your thoughts about it? Have y'all seen that?
I think I ran through it a little bit. Like it turned out to be because he credited. He didn't discredit.
He credited it.
He
Yeah.
credited
He
it.
said
Yeah.
he knew the lady.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it
one of
was
the guys,
real.
right?
Yeah, that guy right there that's talking.
So let me ask you this: does miracles like that happen? Still
Yeah.
happen?
Yeah,
I believe that they can.
And what is a miracle? Yeah, me and wife had a conversation about that. It was crazy. But what is a miracle? Does miracles like that still happen? Because it's a lot of fakeness going on, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So does it still happen? Does this like people getting raised from the dead and you know, or is most of that fabricated?
Can we flame it flame? Can
frame
we
it.
frame it a little like more clearly? Like, okay, I think everybody believes that it can happen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Christians, so we all agree on it. But I guess the question is it happening today? And if it is happening today, like, I guess the question is, how do you distinguish these real ones from the fake ones? And maybe what rate is it happening? Like, how often? How, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we see a lot. If you look at 100 of them randomly, what percentage of those do you think are real? I want to know, like, for real. What do you think? I want to hear all you guys.
I've never seen it happen for real.
Okay.
I'm saying from what I've read as far as the biblical account, God can move any way he wants to, and if he chooses to, he can make a person's foot grow back. I've just never seen it. I'm not on the other side of the spectrum of sensationalism to where saying that it absolutely cannot happen today. But I think a lot of people, especially what we see on YouTube, is a fraud.
You're saying a lot. When you say a lot, what
I'm saying everything that I've seen on YouTube up to this point,
that's what I'm trying to get at.
has-
Basically, everything
yeah.
you've seen, you think is falsifiable.
right.
Like, you think it's pretty much fake.
Yeah, it's all
in
oral
your
sex
opinion,
demon to me.
right?
It's all oral sex demon to me.
How about you, Matt?
I've seen miracles in front of my face. Like
Okay,
I've seen it
okay.
happen. I've seen somebody come out of walkers. I've seen somebody come out of a cane. I believe that is still happening. Now, yeah, you're right. I think that there needs to be more, like that hard evidence, the doctor reports and like if these things are what they are, then I think that they need to be properly documented. I don't know if it's being properly documented. I think that's where the church might fail.
So here's the thing, right? Like, Dwayne's a Christian. You're a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
You say you've seen some in front of your face, and you believe what you saw. I guess you could be wrong or right. We don't know, right? But about what you've seen, I guess, like, the biggest criticism that, like, people who don't necessarily believe in our God is like, why can't God heal paraplegics? You know what I mean? Like, let me see the limb. Like it's always something fake. You know what I mean? Like,
It really is though.
that it shouldn't be common, but by now, this is the argument, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, all the cameras, man, we're catching all kinds of stuff, dude.
Right.
You know what I mean? In the animal world and like all kinds of stuff. And it's like, how come there's no concrete, like, we should have at least a small arsenal, I would say, of like that concrete, like, look at that, explain that one. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and
So let
we
me
just don't
let
got
me
it.
let me say this because this arose not too long ago. So then is miracles subjective,
That's enough.
right? Is it
Wait,
is it based?
don't leave
if
yet,
you
though.
if you perceive
Don't leave it.
no, is it subjective?
Don't leave what we were on.
Okay,
because-
I'll stop there. I'll stop.
We'll take that one next.
Stop there.
Okay, here's so I've never seen a in front of my face miracle as we traditionally know, like somebody getting up and couldn't walk and all that type of stuff. I've never seen that myself. Okay, but here's what I have against that. Even for myself, here's what I have against even a discussion about miracles today. Something that I feel needs to be taken into consideration. Because of where we are with technology and all the things that we take for granted today, that we know that 40 years ago, if somebody even just saw a simple thing like a smartwatch, they would freak out.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we don't consider that a miracle because we know how it happened.
Yeah.
Right? We've
Subjective.
progressed so far.
Subjective. Yeah.
No, but I'm saying like we've progressed so far that I believe that even if people were to see, like every person on earth was to actually witness maybe somebody they know was dead, like raised from the dead, like that was the biggest one, right? Back in the Bible days.
Yeah.
That was the last one and that was the biggest one, right? We'd be like, oh no, then they'll be saved. If they see that miracle, there's no way they will deny God, right? I believe that today, if that was to happen, it would not have that effect.
So
I
let me
would
ask you
agree.
this.
I would
Let me ask you
concur.
this. What
I
you
agree
just
there.
mentioned is that what you just mentioned, saying that a person never saw a smartwatch, right? And then all of a sudden sees a smartwatch and thinks it's a miracle. Would that be deemed miracle or your lack of knowledge
Right. Well, I mean, that's
or understanding?
Well, that
because
means that
I don't
means
know that it could be built, so
Right.
then I deem it to be a miracle when
Right.
it's really
Right.
not.
Right.
It's just my lack of knowledge.
well, that's where all magic and all that comes in, right? The magic is
No, because my people fail because
A
of
lot
lack of knowledge.
scientists will
Yeah,
tell
yeah.
you that today.
It does say that.
The miracle of today is just the common thing of tomorrow. or
Right.
whatever.
Right.
You just don't know.
You just
right. You
don't
just
know.
don't know. because
So
you
then,
didn't
should I
figure that.
deem it a miracle because I just don't know?
Right. Well, not really. I think. Well, again, when you say a miracle, is because it's because something you do know should not occur has occurred.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like
For me-
no, but no,
Go
because
ahead.
we have timeless ones, right? We
Yeah.
have timeless ones. We
do.
have timeless ones like the one I just mentioned. Somebody, being dead and coming back alive. Up to today, that should still be a miracle. We don't know.
Well, it depends on under the circumstances in which.
Right.
Right,
Okay.
right,
Okay.
right,
So you're
right.
saying he was dead, but maybe he wasn't really dead because we didn't have this. Today's technology would have brought him
real
back.
quick, right?
Right,
There's
uh-huh.
this example of somebody who died in Grenada.
Okay.
And, basically, they were in a coma, dude.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
and
Yes.
They started banging on the casket, bro.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
They were buried. They were at the funeral, and they were
Gotcha.
burying this dude. My
Gotcha.
friend was telling me about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
This was like ages ago, right? But I think maybe a grandma was telling us about it or something.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And it's like back then, at that time, they didn't know about comas and long.
Right.
He was dead.
Right.
But today we know, so it's like
Yeah.
Yeah, but here's
Yeah.
the thing. Yeah, that's where, I think that in ages or to some people, okay, let's just say like this. Okay, God told me bang on the coffin. Now, I'm not a doctor. All I hear is bang on the coffin. Let's say you're the doctor and coma. This person's going to wake up. To me, let's say we're both Christian, there's some things that I believe that God will just tell me to do things and I'll do it out of obedience. Whereas God is revealing to you the science behind what's going on. It's still God.
So is that a miracle?
Well, for me, that thing is a miracle because
Okay. So then is it
to me, out of obedience.
So then in some parts it's subjective.
yeah,
Yes.
it is.
It would be subjective.
It
The
has to
miracle,
be.
but that's why I do believe that miracles are generally personal, though. That's what that's the whole point of it.
For me, all right. So then here's my take on it, right?
Go ahead.
And then for me, I get it. It could be subjective, right? But for me, I kind of tend to go towards the idea of that on both levels, on all levels, it should be undeniable. Like subjective should be out of the question. all of that stuff should be out of the question. Meaning, like, it should be without human reasoning. Like, both me and you should look at each other and be like, yeah.
Well,
there is
but
no
here's the
way.
thing, though. But here's the thing.
For me, if I'm saying like this is a God, the ultimate like being coming into a situation and letting us experience a miracle.
But here's the thing, though.
Should be without explanation.
But here's the thing. There's plants. We often say, these herbalists will say there's a plant for every disease. We don't know all the plants because of our ignorance. We knew the knowledge, according to our Bible, Adam, before the fallen state of man, they knew herbs, they knew all these things. Look at the laws of electricity. How recent is that? When did we come into the knowledge of electricity? But God knew that law, but man didn't start harnessing electricity until what age, what era? So like it's
Tesla era, yeah.
So like God might tell me, like I said, again, God might tell me, well, do this, do that, and all of a sudden electricity comes out. I don't know how that happened. And it may never happen for me ever again in that era. But then all of a sudden, Rick comes along and goes, oh, if I use this and this will conduct this, and all of a sudden now,
I agree, and
so
but
this is what I'm saying.
I think for me, I'm still stuck between knowledge and miracle.
But okay,
Right?
okay.
Like,
let's
is
put it
that
like
because I don't know?
Well, how about
versus
this?
is that a miracle?
Let me ask a question.
Go ahead.
And let me use Sean's example where there was somebody that was supposedly dead, wasn't actually dead, was in a coma in Grenada.
Right.
I'm saying a miracle would be you have a person that is dead, like he coded and you were able to call him and this was the time of death and it's been 3 days and then all of a sudden he's alive. Like I had doctors, again, never seen this, but that would be a miracle. If somebody was actually dead and you had medical professionals saying, yeah, this guy's dead, he has no pulse, he is dead. And then all of a sudden he's alive a couple of days later, would be something.
But that would be, Dwayne, by today's standards. And let's say, I don't know, 50 years from now, we find out there's a new way that people can stay, like, you could be dead and this, you know what I mean? Like something else can bring you back that we don't know today. You understand? Like, we're, I guess what I'm saying is it's inescapable that we live in the present and we're subject to what we know now.
Right, but who gave that knowledge though?
Well,
I think that's gonna
question.
but that's gonna be
I
the
mean,
point.
like, because
That's
to me,
gonna be
it's
the
like
point.
it's revelation knowledge, and all to me,
Right.
the revelation has to come from God. Because if God, we can't separate God from science,
No, we're not trying to do that.
right?
But
So the thing is, like,
what I'm trying to just show is like the relative nature of like information to the times. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right?
But that's what
if
makes
you
it a
ask
miracle, doesn't it?
Like because Dwayne is saying like this example of like it's verified, definitely for sure. Like this guy is the. How do you know that? It's based upon all the tests that we have today,
Right.
and we're still increasing. So what
Okay,
I'm saying
yeah, I
is
get you.
there are people that can be called dead today that in the future we will not call dead.
Right. So, okay, let's put it like this. Okay, Jesus healed Peter's mother-in-law from a fever. Was that a miracle?
Huh?
Was that a miracle?
Well,
Oh yeah.
It was a miracle.
Explain the
Yeah,
context
it did.
again.
It did.
Okay, Peter.
give us the story, what happened?
Peter's mother-in-law had a fever. She was sick with fever to the point of dying. Now, what could have been done today? Like we said, like that was a miracle.
Well,
Jesus
Matt,
performing
in
the
that
miracle.
case, we believe, right? See, this is a faith thing. We believe that Jesus did something miraculous and just healed.
He
fever,
healed the
right?
fever.
Right. So, what we're talking about now is like how you can just you
take a
what people
Tylenol.
perceive to be a miracle, like maybe back then, is not perceived as.
But that's what I'm saying. Like the fever, what would have happened if his mother-in-law had a fever today? You know what I'm saying? Like what? You know what I'm saying? Like there's things in
I think
place.
it's a different argument because
I don't think so, because it's a whole.
what I'm saying is like I'm not disagreeing with you. What I'm trying to say is like we're believing that story by faith. I believe that Jesus did a miracle, whatever a miracle is supposed to be in that instance, right? Now, how we would fix that today is another story. That doesn't change the fact that Jesus did a miracle then. You know what I mean?
Right.
The question is, how do we verify what is a miracle today? We believe that by faith. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But we're talking about verification. Like, how do we know? Like, we're looking at all these videos. That's what the question is about. Like, we're looking at all this stuff, and it's like we want to be able to differentiate. I would like to know what's legit from what's not legit. Why would you not want to know the truth?
Right, and I think that's
how
where
do we gauge?
that's where I think we got to get documents. We got to get doctors documents and things to prove. Okay, yeah, this did happen. This in fact happened, and I, you know, I think that's something that if we're in this age where we're competing with AI, I think that we're gonna have to be more upfront on getting documented proof of these miracles that you know they're showing on TV.
So
I think
let me address something Natalie said.
Natalie
Natalie said some good points over here. She said, well, if there's no faith, let me go back up, right? V talked about the book of Enoch, talking about the fallen angels, Azazel, and Amarus, teaching humans magical knowledge, aka technological advancements. Natalie said, well, if there's no faith, why would we see it?
Yeah.
So are we saying that because of, if there's no faith, you won't see a miracle? Is that what that is?
Well,
that was
okay.
exactly the point I was making earlier.
Yeah, that's a lot of that. That's the point. So why are the miracles in? I'm speaking of scripture now. Why are the miracles in scripture miracles? Because that's how it's defined. So it is saying, you know, it's not based on whether we know or whether we can explain away because we've lived 2,000 years later.
So it's not an objective thing that is what it is, and it's not verified.
No, I'm saying it is what it is because that's how it's defined. So
it's not verifiable.
Right, you can't necessarily verify it, and really, if the faith is there, you either believe it or you don't believe it. So you know, in that sense, when it comes to trying to figure out what scripture is and things of that nature. So the reason why we believe it, did Jesus die? We believe yes, but it's not because we know, it's because we have faith in what's written as far as that's concerned. And that's really where it can start or stop. It can't go any further than that really, without beating your head against the wall, because it's not something that you can prove physically.
Yo, on that note, well, we're out of time.
Yeah.
We are.
That was a quick one. That's because we started late. But we got to continue that conversation because it's a wide, like it's so many layers to it. Yes. You know what I mean? But yo, as always, man, it's been a pleasure. Listen, if y'all haven't subscribed, whoever's watching later, subscribe, hit the bell notification button, right? And we be back. All right, Uninvited Podcast.